You're muted, Mateo, if you're trying to talk to us.
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to talk to you, loser. Shut up.
I'm just crashing out
I
a
mean,
little bit.
it's just like your job to like ask us our ratings or whatever, like.
What is it there? Is it over now for him?
Yeah, I didn't care to see the thing. I just skipped.
Bro, we
Yeah,
all
it's
watched
a
it.
little song. It's just a little song, yeah, whatever.
Let's get Timmy first. Timmy with this
Okay.
on the pulse of the fucking
okay.
knowing what IMDb says. You know what I'm saying?
Whatever, dude.
Oh shit! Hold on, I need a new slot.
You're a good person to go first. You got it.
Okay, I'll give you
Yeah, you can go first.
my honest opinion. Like, it's nothing to do with that.
All right, what you thinking?
You good, Mateo? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew it was a vampire movie ahead of time. I thought the introduction of the characters was cool. I liked the time frame. I knew it was going to be like a little off at some point. I was just waiting for it. I don't know, it was a little cheesy at times, a little overdone at some points, but I thought in the end of it, it was decent. It was decent. I didn't think it was the fucking worst movie. I think people were, I don't know. I think people are a little over the top with whatever. It's far too much music. I mean, it's blues, man. I'm a musician too, on top of it.
Yeah, I mean, a big theme of the movie was blues and music, so there's gonna be a lot of music.
The whole theme of it was setting up the juke, man. So I don't know. I think 7.5. I don't think it was the best movie, but I thought it was a good watch.
All right,
I'll go 7.5.
gotcha. Get written down.
I like the characters. I honestly liked all the characters. I thought everybody was pretty good.
All right, Big Zo.
I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, really.
I'm with what Tim said. I like the characters. I like the build up. I like there was a couple gems they snuck in. Like if you wasn't paying attention, you might be a little confused. I like the music.
Like
Just little stuff where like even what the dad said before, like something like you're gonna invite the devil in based on his music, because and that's where like the music is what brought those the vampires there. And
what brought that first vampire to the people's house? Was it music?
Well, he was getting chased by the Indians.
Yeah, the Indians.
And then
right
after that, they just stumbled upon the music.
Well, if
they're like, "Hey guys, let's go for a walk."
If you noticed, see, this is what I'm saying. If there was a part where when she was talking about the narrator was talking about the music, and she says, and then like went to the future and went to the past, and it was talking about like how like a music's like spirits, and then it was like this weird scene where there's like a DJ playing and then some motherfuckers.
That scene was trippy, but I liked it because it's like
I like that.
Yeah,
I thought it was cool.
So basically, it was like basically like a portal. But then when the vampires came, they looked at they could see all of them just dancing around in like a burning building. Like they could see through it. So when the main vampire said to him, "Oh, your music is the reason why I found you guys." So it's kind of like what the dad was saying. Put down the guitar was like put down the music. Da 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 da. So it was just like cool little things.
So what did he end up doing?
And he wouldn't remember. He wouldn't put it down.
The guitar and then went to clubs for the rest of his life until he was old.
Yeah. Which I was kind of confused about that part too, because I was like, you'd think he would he would be in like some church, and he's like doing the choir or something.
No, it's just the sinning's too good for them.
Yeah.
Like they can't give it up.
Yeah, and then if you notice, like all those people in that party were like, I guess the girl that was cheating on her husband, like they were all like the two twins. They were like all like technically like bad people doing bad shit. You know what I'm saying? Just like the
sinners.
Yeah, just like when the vampire came to those guys' house, they were like the Ku Klux Klan, right? I enjoyed it, man. I think the music too around it was really good. I give it a 7.5 for sure.
Dang.
I enjoyed it.
Kevin?
I thought the acting was good and the scenery and all the build up was good, but making I don't know. Them making a vampire movie, like it's cool, but it like I don't know, man. It's like the movie didn't know what it wanted to be and they threw vampires in there. Like a couple subtle hints and then here's vampires. Like it's not a vampire movie and it's not like I don't know, it's this like in between shit that is just weird. And I'm not saying it was bad, but I don't know. I gave it like a 6.5. Just I don't know. I would have liked some more vampire lore, would have been cool. Vampires are weak as shit for some reason. And again,
they were so inconsistent. Sometimes they were fast as fuck, and then it's like, oh, now you're able to react to them.
Yeah, I understand it's not supposed to be a vampire movie. That's not what it like. That's not the.
Bro, come on, guys.
Yeah.
The first vampire lady gets shot 7 times, instantly gets up and starts sprinting out of the door. Okay, then the entire group of zombies or vampires gets invited into the fucking place, and the humans are the ones walking around making decisions on what they're gonna do next, and the zombies were the ones on the ground trying to figure out how to get back up and fight. Come on.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. Like all the buildup and everything was good, and all the acting was good, and everything else. Like it, throwing the vampires in, you take the vampires out of it, and you just make it like the clan instead coming for him or some shit. Like make that the action portion. I don't know. It would have changed what the movie is, but would have kind of gone with what was happening in the movie at least. Like adding the vampires and then no vampire lore really, no like where'd this dude come from, how the vampires work, like.
Bro, it was like a shitty.
That's what I'm saying.
30 days.
Are we arguing realism in a
shitty
vampire
30
fighting
days.
scene?
Listen, I'll say it. It's a shitty 30 days of night. That's a way better vampire movie, and it's like a similar. I'm not gonna say a similar concept, but it is a group of motherfuckers getting killed over a span of time. You know what I mean?
I think the vampires
like
were
a shitty version of a vampire movie.
Like the second hand of the story. Like I don't think
second half.
The vampires were like the main.
What's the first?
Like I wouldn't say this is just a vampire movie. I think that was just like, you know when you watch
exactly what I mean.
Well, okay,
when you watch zombies like Walking Dead for so long.
Movie, what kind of movie is?
I'm not saying it's not a vampire movie, but
it's supposed to be an original concept. It's supposed
to
be
like Walking Dead.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like to the point where you're like you're in the like 10th season. The zombies are like almost like a byproduct of it. Like no one's.
Yeah, no, it's about the character dynamics. But no, it's like given the time period too, right? Like the whole thing was about them all trying to be free and having like enjoying their lives and shit like that, which is why they keep sinning, because it's fun for them. But especially with the brothers, right, where they're like, hey, we just want to be free, we want to buy our own place, we want to make a juke joint for everybody to come to. And then even at the end of the day, they learned that, well, they couldn't even have that because the fucking Ku Klux Klan guys were going to come kill them.
Yeah, and they left their guns and stuff in the car. Remember, they didn't know that the Ku Klux Klan was going to come back and kill him until the brother was turned. And
I like that part. Don't get me wrong. I like that concept, how he took his memory, told them they were going to die anyways. Okay. There's some qualities of the movie that aren't terrible.
So they were literally all going to die
between each other.
That's why I say it's 6.5, dude. It's like it's entertaining. There's a lot of good aspects to it, but it is an original concept, and I don't know, it just didn't hit fully. Like it just had a lot of room for.
It felt like two different movies that got put together, and they're just like, look, I couldn't figure out how to end this one. You guys couldn't figure out how to end that one.
Someone in the writing room.
I could give you that.
Somebody in the writing room. Somebody in the writing room was like, "This is good, but guys, vampires."
Yes.
What if we just cut off some of that blues part and start killing people? How about that? Have you thought about that?
Even if the vampires were introduced sooner, and it was, again, it changes the whole movie, but introduce the vampires a little bit sooner to where it like is a vampire movie, but instead they made it this movie and added vampires into it. Like, it's just such a weird thing to add. Like, it'd be like, oh, one of them turns into a werewolf, and now it's a werewolf movie. Like, it's just, it's such a fucking weird thing to go 45, 50 minutes into a movie and then be like, oh yeah, it's this
Because
guy.
they couldn't figure out what to do with the main concept of the movie, so they said vampires.
Again, like, where do you go in one like that? Like,
I feel like there's different aspects. We could argue that the movie was the music was the main aspect of the
I think it's all
of the
metaphoric.
movie. Not,
I agree. Where do you take a movie like that though?
Yeah, where do you take a movie like that?
You think a
You
movie
guys are
like
missing-
Lawless, and they have like the moonshining shit, but you have to come out with a bad guy, right? Like in this movie, there was no villain until a vampire showed up, right? So then it's not even like, you know what I mean? Like an antagonist should be around at some point early on for you to get to hate him and like build up. But it's like it's a vampire, but then the vampire's not even really a bad guy. He's like, yo, I want you to live forever, and you guys were gonna get killed. Anyway. We're kind of good guys. Like, who's the bad guy in this movie? Who do you want even to win? Like,
well, if you
like
know,
Jared said, I don't
okay,
care if
so
he kills everybody, and it might be better if they're all
so
vampires.
if you notice,
And it
like
seemed to be better.
the guys
You know
who
what I
showed up to the door to not let that guy in were like the native Indians, and it kind of shows their concept of like they're more spiritual and in tune with the land. There was a lot of like
they were like vampire hunters.
they were like
Y'all just
a lot of gems.
Where's your
in it.
ratings next, by the way?
there's a lot.
Bro,
There's a
they-
lot
they
of
could-
yapping.
They could have had all of them turn into vampires, and then the vampires go kill the Ku Klux Klan. You know what I mean? Like, they could have done that. You'd be like, oh,
Yeah, but I
cool,
don't
they're
think
all-
it's
they
about
live
that. I think
forever,
it's
all
like-
good.
It's not
I
what
think
the
it's like
movie's
I think it's
about.
all like metaphors. Like
Yeah.
Who's next?
I think the
Yeah.
vampires
better.
is like
Don't say that
Like
to
you-
Summit. Summit doesn't like that.
I know, but I think the
No,
vampires
the
is like you
metaphors.
having to like face your guilt. Like you can't hide from it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
What?
Like
That's
the-
not vampires. That what?
it's just
No, that's not
metaphor, but it's
vampires.
just the
No,
metaphor.
that is-
Vampires
that's
are
church shit.
representing
That's
the
the
fucking
church
evil.
stuff that was in the
It's not
movie.
about the vampires, man.
Yeah, I don't. That's what I said. I don't think the
Too
movie's
much on the
about
vampires.
vampires.
Nobody
No, but
fucking
it's
spit some
metaphoric.
knowledge to Blade before he cut their fucking heads off.
it's the
But-
same thing.
You
right?
compare-
That's
you-
It's
why
like
I know
metaphoric.
this is-
You
It's
can't
like the
compare this
vampires
to
are
Blade.
Their guilt. It's like your sin,
Oh,
like
my
facing
God.
This
your
is
face.
it's the exact same thing. This is why I know someone doesn't fuck with it.
I
'Cause
hate
that's what
symbolism.
Silent.
So
That's what
fucking
Silent
stupid.
Hill 2 was. Silent Hill
Symbolism is
2.
so
Listen,
fucking
you
stupid.
guys are missing out on so
Symbolism
much.
is stupid.
You guys are missing
Silent
out
Hill
on so much.
2. That's what it was too. All the monsters in
In
Silent Hill
movies,
2
okay, chill.
represent-
Video games.
But it's the same, right? It's like the vampires represent their like punishment
Yeah, yeah, and
for
then
being
like,
sinners.
and then like that club is like their safe space, but they can't stay forever type shit.
Bro, what's the point of the movie? Give me that. What's the main concept? And don't say music, because that's not a concept. Of the movie,
That
you know what I mean?
when you sin, you
if
eventually
you thought
have
about
to
a concept
face your
here,
guilt.
you would say vampire movie. What else would you say?
Robert Johnson.
What else would you say? Would you tell people it's a musical? People go play the blues? Is that what you would tell somebody about the movie?
No, I think
Nah, I think
everything
you're-
is
I think you're-
metaphoric.
I think
and
you're-
it's about facing your sins.
I think
Like,
you're looking
and-
surface level.
Yeah, yeah, and like the vampires is like them being at
There's-
looking at them face to face is like them facing their guilt and
There's depth. There's depth.
and maybe the music's like the healing aspect. I don't know.
What's this
I'm
have
just
to do with Irish folk music, by the
I
way?
don't
What's that all about?
The guys live.
The Irish are the ones that fucking that make you face your guilt, dude.
All right, Chris, what's your rating?
Okay, thank you. All right, let me get into this a little bit here because you guys are just going off here. The movie itself is a weird take, a little bit on Robert Johnson. That's who the kid is. The guy that everybody thought he sold his soul to the devil. That's why he played the guitar too good.
I'm not
Shit
trying
like
to do
that.
research to watch a movie and enjoy it.
I know you're not trying to, but it's just like it's common knowledge that people know if you pay attention to music.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, like if you go back to the blues, if you like the blues, okay, fine. That's just in the background. They don't really push that forward. Me personally, with a lot of the movie, I think they took too much out of it when they dug into the future and stuff and confusing people. Because like I feel like the scene where they went into the future, the past, and the present, like I didn't like that. I get like people that like music and stuff like that. They like that, but that movie, I would say, almost was better than fucking Gladiator. 2 because they actually made me
Okay,
feel like
good
I
thing
was
you
in the
added a
30s.
2
Yeah,
there.
that's a good clarification
yeah,
right there.
yeah.
Nah, I was like,
Hey, listen,
going a little far
fucking-
with that.
Being better than Gladiator 2 is like nothing.
Acting-wise. Yeah, true, fair. But acting wise, it made me feel like I was in the 1932s or whatever. Like
Mhm,
everything
mhm.
felt legit. Down to the core where the Chinese owners own 2 stores in the actual neighborhood, right? They're most of the time they were linking most of the cultures back then in between because a lot of motherfuckers didn't want to talk to each other. All that felt real. It's when they got to the vampires that made no fucking sense because they chose to be strong, they chose to be weak. The guy that came from nowhere.
Wait, which vampire chose to be strong? And you saying it's strong?
Well, no, like the main one was strong, and then like
The only one that
she took
was...
like, but she took like 12 shots and was only stunned for half a second, like Summit pointed out. And then the other motherfucker took a shot, was on the ground for like a minute and a half just so somebody could stab them. The other chick tackled her husband, who then was on fire, who was stronger than her husband, and stabbed him.
1G'd herself.
Yeah, they keep in mind they had...
Bro, you're just taking it at too much surface level, bro.
No.
There's like,
see, you guys not paying attention. Keep in mind they had silver bullets. That's why he said this will stun them.
Silver bullets.
He said this will stun them, but for a while. But
they never said they were using silver bullets.
Brother,
Yeah,
they were around the table
setting up.
having
They were preparing
setting
all
up.
their
Setting up
weapons.
bullets. They had silver bullets. They melted bullets in the middle. Of the
I don't
movie. When
recall
did
them
that
using
happen?
silver bullets. I recall the
like-
steaks and the garlic.
Yeah.
No,
Where'd they get silver bullets?
Yeah, they said that this will hurt them, but
Said
not kill them.
He said, "Yeah, this will stun them."
Where'd they
If you
get
weren't
silver
focused
bullets?
on the sex scene, you would have noticed that there was several bullets in there on the table.
Well, where did they fucking get the
I
silver bullets,
swear.
assholes?
They just
swear
added.
It's not like you just go to a fucking Walmart and get silver bullets. Even back then, you couldn't do something like that.
They were
I
the
think they
fancy
just-
bullets.
They were talking about normal bullets. They were just saying this will slow them down, but not hurt them. They didn't have silver bullets.
No, they weren't silver bullets. They handed a guy a gun, and he's like, "This doesn't work," and he's like, "It will slow them down." You guys are dumb as fuck for thinking there were silver bullets. Jesus.
No, they used silver bullets.
So
You guys are so stupid. It's crazy. Unreal.
the Irish guy was interlocked to all of them, like mind-wise. Once he turned them, they were all locked to him until he died, basically, right? So like he got the knowledge that they own the house, but it didn't make sense that he followed for the music because that guy never met the guy that played the music. So it was just weird. The natives that were chasing after them, they seemed like they had way more of the history of vampires and stuff. They looked at like a group that hunted them for a living.
Yeah, that's
But
what
there
they
was no
knew.
story behind that. Yeah, but they gave no story behind that.
But
It wasn't
Nah,
like that
see-
they came to help them.
No,
Bro,
I
they
like
needed the
when movies
character
do that.
development in the bedroom. You didn't see that part?
No. I liked the world building, right? I said that very early on that it was like you could feel the relationships between every character, like they knew each other. There was definitely history there. I like that they sprinkled in like this. Oh, there's a group out here that knows about these vampires.
Yeah, like the
Like,
native Indians, right? They would know about it. I don't know.
So I'll end it.
Good story
For me-
sprinkles. All right.
For me, it was a good movie to because I already watched it before I watched it with you guys. I watched it with my wife. It was a good movie to watch with my wife. Yeah, but I stood quiet. It was a good movie to watch with my wife, but in general, I would give it a 6 because a lot of things just didn't add up, and it was just a lot of like silly things that happened in that. Like all the only 2 people that were affected at Anna dying were the brother and the girl, right? Because they were close to them. Why did the rest of the zombies? Why did the rest of the vampires run out of the building? They were winning. Also,
Their camera tracking his ass.
a bunch of randoms died.
Were they
in the
winning?
building.
were they winning?
No, they weren't. They weren't winning. But
The
that's just
humans
funny
took
part.
out the vampires and were like, "Oh my god, we gotta go now. We'll catch you guys."
I feel like the movie was made for people like us that like good movies, and it tricked us into thinking it was going to have like our type of style, and then it was for the modern generation and then the newer generation, and they shoved it all in one instead of just having an even flow of a movie. But
Okay, what
that's
part
my
of that
opinion.
movie was your style besides the music? I guess, right? You're into
beginning
music.
part, like the beginning part,
The
like,
character
felt like it
development,
was
how
really
everybody
good. It started off
connecting
good,
with
and
each
then-
other after years. Oh, these guys are back in town. Oh no, they're here rich to build something. Okay, I get it. All right.
Yeah, that started off good. I was like, oh shit, there's a good story happening, and then that happened. But I give it a 6. It was at least entertaining. And I like the.
But like, what panned out with that shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, where did that story lead? You know what I mean? Like, there wasn't like the biggest relationship in the movie was the brothers.
I think it ties back again to Robert, the guy that thinks he sold his soul or whatever. But you guys wouldn't know that, right? Unless you paid attention to blues music and stuff. So that was the point. Like the dad was saying, the music is the devil, and it brings nothing but evil. And the guy was amazing at what he did, right? So I guess they just tied that into the movie.
Yeah. And then they were like, "Hey, vampires are evil, right?"
Yeah, that was the devil.
I don't know. They didn't seem evil at all, honestly. Like, come live forever, bro. We're all good. They don't even kill. They didn't kill.
To be fair, listen. To be fair, you give me that. I could be the only one in that building, and if you say, "Hey, man, we feel really great. Come out here. Let me bite your neck so you can die real quick," I'd be like, "Yeah, fucking suck my nuts." What do you mean?
You turn into a vampire.
That's not like a decision,
thing ever, bro.
It doesn't matter. I still would make the decision to live.
Yeah, the one part I did.
Like I said, they didn't kill anybody.
One part I did.
Everybody lived.
The only part that
That's bullshit. You die. The process of dying is there. Do you think? Ask Stack if he like dying on the floor, bleeding out in his brother's arms, like shaking and shivering. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man.
The only part that really didn't make sense to me was when the lady was like, "You want some? Come on in." Like, wouldn't after her seeing her husband turned and all of this like supernatural evil shit, and then she's just like, "You want some? Come on in," and just put everybody in danger.
I like how they're like pretending like they can't cover her mouth either. Like, what are you talking about? I'll put you in a rear naked so fast you can't speak. You're crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Knock her out. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're saying she wanted to fight, but it's like, okay, go outside and fight by yourself. She insta died too. That's like.
Yeah, but did she? Okay, that's another. She died because she wanted to kill her husband so bad. That's who she killed, right? It wasn't the guy who bit her husband, one of the guys who fucked over her husband. She really, really wanted to kill her husband.
To free his soul.
Yeah, that's why.
So much so that she was willing to let herself burn to death.
After banging Sammy. Yeah. After banging Sammy, she wanted her husband's soul to be free.
No, a different one. We're talking about like the Asian lady that was.
The Asian lady.
Oh.
Yo, listen.
Invited the whole fucking mob, yeah.
I don't know who the random like chick was that had a husband that was like getting involved with the little dude, but I guess that was simply to state that, hey, I'm a sinner too, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she was a local singer.
Oh yeah, I got that part. I got it.
She was singing.
I got it. She's a local singer.
Yakuza. Big singer.
Yeah, the reason why I knew that was because it was in like Supernatural. So like the story about like the jazz guy. So, like I caught that right away.
And I think about it like in a zombie apocalypse, right? If your significant other got turned into a zombie and you had to run into a crowd of zombies, you'd probably kill them so that they didn't stay a zombie.
Zombies.
No, fuck no.
Vampire seems way
no, you would.
When you kill a vampire, you're killing the person still. When you're killing a zombie, you're killing a lifeless body, right? I kill a zombie. A vampire though. Please, bro, I'd stay away from that. I'd stay far away from that. I'd stay far away.
They turned out okay vampires at the end. Okay, once they got away from the mind control of the crazy Irish dude, they were chill. Bro had
so basically, the Irish dude was like, he wanted to consume. He wanted that main kid for the music, because at the end when he's like, give me your music, because he's like, I can read your thoughts. Like it was like it's a metaphor for like a culture appropriation. That's why he was on that one kid was just like, I want your mind, I want your music. And that's why they could like, you notice like all of them were like, how comes all of them sing and stuff like that?
Yeah.
There was a lot.
Metaphor. Summit is a metaphor.
Yeah. It was like a metaphor. Like, I guess.
Me, bro.
That
shit don't make no sense. All you gotta do is offer him a contract, take 20%, bro, like normal humans.
That's the point.
That's
exactly what he was trying to do.
Yeah, that was the metaphor.
That's the metaphor.
That's a crazy way to. That's the metaphor.
I guess.
Yeah. So it's a zombie metaphor for a record label trying to sign your music.
Yeah, it's just a culture. It's culture appropriation. It's like racism, slaveryism. Like it's all of that shit all in one. So it's like you have the KKK guys, and like you're in the slavery times where they have these things going around them, and now the vampires represent just a bunch of different things of like,
Your end of that sentence just sounded incredible, and then the vampire.
yeah. But it's because you're looking at it from just
Literal.
like So if you're looking at it from literal, be like, why vampires? Like I don't understand. But it was just a new.
Vampires are just like representing evil,
Vampires are
right?
kind of like demons, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like because they've made movies like this where you sign that contract like at 5% and you're taking 80% or 90%. You've seen all these movies, even in that new Bob Marley movie. It's the same shit. So I think they just made a new creative twist on it for the motherfuckers that like that type of shit, and then just kind of.
That's why I was saying it's not a vampire movie. It's about everything else.
Oh,
Still 6.5.
I just like, bro, but you can't.
And that's fair.
Okay.
That's fair.
But when you say it's about everything else, you say what else it is.
I just told you culture
Everything's
appropriation.
Yeah.
That's what the vampires, because they're sucking everything out. So you've got
To use as their own.
yeah.
He wants to take his ability basically to do music because if he
So we
gets
watched
him,
a
then he gets all
political
his
film? Is that what we
abilities.
just
You
watched?
asked
Is
the
that what we're saying?
To play his music. Yeah.
At the end, at the end, he was like, "I want."
political film.
He was like, "I want your songs."
Google says that this explores the dangers of suppressing one's true self and power of culture identity, particularly within the context of Jim Crow South. He uses the allegory
Algorithm?
of vampires.
Allegory?
No,
Allegory.
Allegory. Preying on a black community.
We had it.
I want your blood so I can sing music really good.
Culture, yeah. Basically, the white guy, man, is what I'm getting from, like attacking and the communities, and then just religion and all that stuff. So
Yeah, and there's a
that's a lot. No, that's a lot to just watch a movie and then have to talk about it, and it's just so much shit when you thought you were just watching a movie.
isn't that a good movie? Because after that, you could sit down and talk about it and just be like, "Wow, I never even did that."
I could talk about Transformers for 2 fucking hours after the movie because that has nothing to do with a good movie. I can talk about a shit movie just as long as in fact, I can talk about a shit movie 10 times longer than I can talk about it.
He's not wrong. He's not.
I'll tell you, it was kind of shitty. So keep going.
I think that the movie could have made more sense while hitting all those points. But like, yeah, there was a lot of like random, like some sex scenes definitely weren't needed. Some fucking like things could have.
But that's the
Which one of them? Explain to us which one was
That's
needed.
the point. It's all sinful
Well,
activity.
Which one of the sex scenes was a necessity? Out
All
of
of them.
curiosity?
Like cheating.
Literally all of them.
He just said, "Hey, listen, some of the sex scenes didn't need to be in there." I was just curious which ones were.
Okay, I would argue
Just
that the
fucking
sex
camera.
scene between Smoke and his wife was because it's like they've been estranged. He hasn't been there in a long ass time, but he comes back and tells her, "I still love you. I still miss you.
No,
you're
that
gonna fuck." Like
No, that was not.
I mean, dude, the guy shows up to his baby mama's house for like 5 minutes for some cereal and fucked her on the fuck next to a cabinet.
that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. They still have feelings for each
Yeah,
other.
they didn't see. You gotta understand, they didn't see each other for 7 years, and she's like, "Oh, I protected you." Like, you think they're not gonna like? They gotta.
Yeah, but you could have cut away. And the house
It was like 5 seconds of
Yeah,
sex. Like,
but
is
but
it really that
it's
big of a deal?
Yeah, it's not.
I'm just, listen, it's not a big deal to me. I'm curious which one
it isn't.
was the important one to the story.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're
I was
asking
trying
me?
to see
Okay.
that full
The
penetration.
one-
That's
the one
crazy. It was a
that
big
I
deal because he was talking
Well,
about
The
it for
sex
quite a
scenes that
bit during the
needed to be
movie.
in there.
If you notice, okay, so if you notice the one chick he was told to stay away from, she turned the brother because the other brother wanted him to stay away from him. Her, remember, he kept saying, "Stay away from her, stay away from her."
Sex scene was kind of important.
And then she had sex with him,
so.
and while she had sex with him, she turned him. But the metaphor in that was like that was a distraction the whole time. Stay away from. And the vampires.
First of all, it wasn't a metaphor. She actually just distracted.
But
him.
the vampires could only get her. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
if he's
What
not
do you mean they could only get her? They
He
didn't
just
know she was
listened to
gonna
his
walk
brother
out and
instead of
listen
being
to
no
the
no
music.
because of like the race dynamic, right?
And where are these dudes' husbands at, man? Why the fuck are these bitches just going out?
These dudes' husbands.
Is it
These ladies'
no, because
husbands,
if
you know what I'm saying?
if you look at it, right, they didn't even know they was vampires. They just kept them away because they
were just
thought
white. Yeah,
they
just
thought they were
white
like
guys.
KKK. They said they're like, "Yo, you here to kill us?" And then like, "Yo, get the guns." And then that's when he said he left in the car. So then
That's actually a really cool line because he asks the Irish vampire, "Are you clan?" and he says we just like want to live in harmony. Like he's talking like a clan out like of his culture.
Yeah. And he said harmony, and then the guy goes to her, here's a gun, go outside and talk to them and see, because the brother was still hungry for the money. So he's like, go outside and talk to them and see what's up. And then she went out, and then they invited her back in.
No, she didn't go out because the brother wanted to find out more about them. She went out because she was pissed about something, and she was just
because he was like, "Yo,
she wanted money." No,
she wanted money.
To get
he told her
because they didn't make enough. They didn't make enough money.
And then
the chick in the dress that fucked Stack was going out there not to find out if they were good people, to find out if she can get money out of them.
That's why Stack gave her the gun.
Had money.
Because Stack goes, yo.
Yeah, I get that they said that they had money.
So
they send her out knowingly alone.
He was like,
well,
that's what you're saying?
2 weeks.
He didn't
they have their own
want her
currency
to
on the
go out.
farm.
He didn't want her to go out, but she insisted.
Do you remember that scene where they were saying that this is a ledger or whatever?
I mean,
they
that's
got,
even
like...
worse. That's even worse. I don't know why we're explaining that like it's better.
No, I didn't say it was good.
What dude in a million years sends a female out to go talk to three people alone in a farm?
Okay, hold on.
Fucking in bumfuck Egypt. What are we even talking about?
It's the times, and also it's the culture of that time.
Yeah,
so she's like,
so dudes were not protective of their wives back then.
No, it's because
she was the white spy.
She was the white girl. They're not gonna touch the white girl.
The only white girl there.
That's why they did it.
The white people outside.
They're like, it's just a thing. White people wasn't hurting white people. She's like the white girl. She's like the trophy girl. So he says, go outside. Boom, boom, boom. Nothing's gonna happen to you. But if he went outside, something could have happened to them.
Yeah. No, that's a huge thing about this movie that you have to keep in mind is the time. You have to keep in mind the time period, because obviously with the KKK shit, their whole thing is they want to be free. They want to do like they want to live in this.
Because if you notice, some of the black people were free and some of them wasn't free. Because you notice when
because when they were driving by,
and he was like, oh, he's like, those are your people. He's like, yeah, but they were slaves. And he was like,
they were in jail.
what is that? Okay, what does that have to do with anything? What are we veering off on?
Because that's why they sent the white girl.
That's why he sent the white girl out there.
And that was Smoke and Stack's entire thing, right? They wanted to make this juke joint for just like black people. It's their
there's
own
plenty of
world.
white people.
That's why they bought it.
Because they sent the white girl to find out if they could spend their money there. But that doesn't make any sense.
So
they didn't send.
All they were talking about the entire time was like, we want to spend money here. We would like to spend money here. We have lots of money to spend here. So why did she go out there?
Because when
there's a crowd of people.
What was her goal?
They realized they were bleeding money. They weren't going to make anything.
Money they had to see how much money.
So after they said we're going to spend lots of money here, that wasn't good enough. They had to send her out there to find out.
They wanted to find.
They counted the money afterwards.
Well,
who sent her?
I think some it's saying it don't make sense, like the acting, like
who sent her?
Insisted on it.
You're saying Stack told
So
her to go.
okay, so it's the same thing.
The ones that said Stack said for her to go.
She insisted against Stack's like wishes. Yeah. She's like, I'm gonna go, and he's like, fuck, I don't want you to go. Here, just take my gun.
Because go
ahead, Zolo. Sorry.
No, because they were like, are these people friendly people? And that's why he's like, yo, go into the city because you guys have your bars. And then
I heard that. I know all that. Went down.
So when she goes. Go ahead.
I just assumed that when she went out there, it was like she was just pissed about something or pissy about something. I guess I didn't catch that she got sent out there. That's a terrible series of events either way.
No, they said they had money. They turned them away, and then they were like, how much money do we have? Well, this and this. We'll only be open for 2 weeks. And then after that, she came and she was like, I know you guys need this money. And he's like, no, don't go out there. She's like, I know you need the money. And then went to go talk to them.
And he's like, all right, take the gun they had. If you're going to talk.
Yeah,
so the reason,
this is gold. This is worth a lot of money, right?
But
that's why the first thing they did is show her the money.
Guys, I get it. You're yapping my ear off over like a 5-second thing that I didn't catch. But she went out there for a different reason. Sorry. Like it doesn't change much.
She had She had a main part in the movie because in the beginning he seen her and was avoiding the shit out of her.
Oh yeah, I love it. That's what I mean about. I love the relationship.
And then when she came to the bar, they were dragging her out the bar. And she was like, I'm staying. And that's why she brought the young kid to have a drink with. So they were trying to get rid of her the whole time because if she was not there, technically none of that shit would have happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
What?
Because she's
She
the
was
one
the
that
one
she
that,
got
like,
she got let in and
she-
killed the brother.
She gave them the in.
Brother, where were they going when that party was over?
They were just waiting for their moment.
They could
There was no, it wasn't gonna fucking happen.
They were
It was gonna happen.
Bro.
Someone was
Partied
gonna
all
leave
night.
that party
No.
and get fucked.
They were partying
Yeah, well,
until the
everybody
morning.
left.
Remember, they was
Yeah, they're part of the sun.
they was part until sunset. Remember, they're like
Sunrise.
the only thing they said to everybody
So wait a
leave when the
second, so wait
brother
a
died.
second. The only reason they got in is because of the white girl, not the Asian lady saying, "Hey, come on in."
You're not getting what I'm saying.
No, my
that wouldn't have
That
happened.
horde of people would have been out there without her.
Those people would have been out there.
Fact, I guess. Yeah, but honestly, they could have threw fire at the building. They could have did anything to smoke.
No,
them out.
they're not gonna do that. Why? They're like,
No, they have to be invited in and shit.
bro, the
Yeah,
whole.
but they didn't go in and like if they all
Chris.
those people that died. Well, hold on.
No, Chris is trolling.
They had no. Are you guys fucking stupid?
Rage baiting. He's rage baiting.
Hello? Turn the light on in your brain. 30 people left the fucking party, and 30 people never.
Because the white girl bit the dude.
Yeah,
Bro,
they
because
could've you could throw a fucking.
If they were
fireball
no
in the building.
party has a everybody stay there till sunrise. No party in existence.
I think you're right on that one. Someone was gonna end up like. I mean, he went to go take
Yeah,
a piss
but
and
with,
got fucking yoinked, but-
yeah, with or take. But what the whole point is that, like, I get it. That guy could have gone and took a piss and then came in. But the whole, I'm talking about the symbolization of the story that he was trying to avoid her. The whole plot. And the brother was like, "Yo, she needs to leave."
Yeah, Stack wasn't gonna fuck the doorman.
Stack would have so the door when they was talking about the mother. They had history. They grew up
We're trying
together.
to pin this all we're trying to pin this all on one person. Who
No,
left the
we're
party.
not. We're just talking
30
about.
people left the party, just like Ratchet
Because
just
of
said.
what happened. Because of the
It was
girher
because-
that
yeah.
wasn't supposed to be
Yeah,
there,
but
that
I
forced her
think
way
Ratchet.
in. That's what we're saying.
It's just.
Oh,
stupid
so the white girl that forced herself in. Okay.
Okay, she didn't force her.
Probably
Okay,
wouldn't
so
leave the
she
party.
had. It seems like remember when
She
she.
like manipulated her way in.
You gotta understand
Yeah.
when he was talking to her, he was like,
And
"Yo,
that made it wasn't her being a vampire that made people left. It was her being someone that didn't belong there, and it made people leave.
No, because
No.
she killed
Bro, even
she killed
She killed
Stack, got
Stack.
shot,
And then Stack, while he was in
everybody
the
ran
building,
away.
was like, "Let me scurry out of the building."
No.
So Stack runs out of the building after being inside already,
Oh
right?
my
Is that a fact or not?
So, all right, this is.
Is that a fact? Can we talk about that? The vampires have to be invited.
They already
So if they
The brother
wake
made
up
people leave. You're not
unconscious in a
understanding,
building
bro.
And they were taken there against their
No,
will.
no.
Not invited. Do they have to run out of the building?
Okay, so listen. Listen to this. When those guys have a connection, her and Stack had a deep connection, and Stack was avoiding the connection because the brother didn't want her around. That's why he said, "Didn't I set you up with a husband and you have a beautiful thing?" And she's like, "I don't want that." Blah 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 blah. So
I
when
wanted you.
I wanted you. So that was a symbolization of their connection, what they had. So when she went outside now,
Bro, when do I get my rating?
when she went outside now, she comes back and goes after Stack.
I
Yeah.
feel like these conversations are hurting the movie for me, not helping the movie for me.
All right, Haunted. What's
Like
your rating?
we're getting so deep.
I feel like it's more
that it's
great.
Like,
more
we're
to
really
we're talking
supposed to
about
think
it.
that deep about
Yeah,
this.
I like
shit,
the
huh?
movie more we talk.
A vampire, I'm sorry, not my bad. Hold on. This music flick with vampires. It's that deep, huh?
Accurate.
Yeah,
Oh, by the way, the sex scene that I think that needed to stay was the one where she killed the brother. Okay, the one where the guy whips his dick out and piss. I did not need to see that.
How about the beginning
wasn't-
parts of that sex scene where she didn't kill him? Was that was all
the
good?
second part was fine. The second part, first part, we didn't.
But
need
it even, but like, I know what you're saying. How like the brother just ran out, whatever, right? But he just
I'm
turned.
really
but
proud of that.
but
lady for
even
having a
the
great acting
even
job.
the even the vampires, when the brother turned a vampire, he still showed mercy because the connection he had with his brother. When his brother's like, "Whatever you do, I don't want you to kill
Oh, come on,
the kid,"
bro.
and he let the guy live.
We got some Demon Slayer shit going on, brother. You know what I'm saying?
But it just still shows that there's still like some type
Like
of.
there's still the person still there. It's not
Yeah,
a
but we
zombie.
know that about the movie. Like we knew that from the get go. They're
Well,
vampires.
I know,
not
but it's
zombies,
showing
right?
it. It's
like
just
they're-
showing it. That's what he's saying.
showing the empathy or whatever.
Okay.
The more we talk about it, the more I like the movie.
Yeah, that's
What's
what I'm
your rating?
saying. I
I like it
fucking
more.
We're having the opposite effect here, brother.
We're almost at
Well,
the
it's
end.
because
of
I'm
this
realizing
Reddit.
everything's not so literal.
I mean, a lot of that had a lot of deep meaning. To
Oh
everything.
yeah, I remember. They also threw the pickle garlic at Stack. Remember?
Mhm. Yeah,
That's why he
I
ran
know,
out.
She whipped pickled garlic at him, which
Yeah.
is why he fled.
That I will say that confused me because if they're not allowed in the building, then don't they like in lore like don't vampires start getting like fucked up because they're in the building without being invited? Even though he got turned there, he still never got invited.
Yeah, but
in.
he's turned there. He's in.
I guess. Yeah, but
That's why they say you have to get rid of the body because he's already in the building
Mm-hmm.
before he turns.
Haunted, what's your rating, man?
It shows them getting fucked up. Like,
I was gonna give like a 5, but since we talked about it, I give it like a 7.5.
Ooh.
Damn,
That's a big. That's a big.
that's a
jump.
big jump.
Well, I realized that all the
You
metaphors.
trolling?
The symbolism.
That does seem like Rage Man, I'm gonna lie, but I like that.
I think all the
that.
sex scenes were important. It showed like a bunch of people just sinning and not having any value in their sex or like cheating on their husbands and
I
Yeah,
feel like-
exactly.
like all that, all that
Exactly.
hating that some had hated them for doing that. That's the whole point.
Are you
That's the
trolling
whole
right
point.
now?
Yeah.
I
The
like
whole
it.
point. Wait, what's the whole point? Someone hating him for
Oh
what?
no!
Remember, you're like, why is this married woman cheating? That's the whole point because she's being a
Oh, because the
disgusting
movie's called
sinner.
Sinners. Oh
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, that's the point. That's why- oh,
Pretty much.
They did a
yeah.
good job.
Everyone's giving
Everybody
in to
who
sin, yeah.
walks into
You
a
get it.
building from for 1,000 years now, everybody are sinners. All of us here are sinners. They really had to bring that one home with cheating, adultery, huh? They had to throw
But
all this shit
it
in.
pissed you off.
Come
right?
on,
So,
bro.
like,
Come on. You really thought that brings a crazy amount to the story for you? The adultery?
Afterwards, yes. Not during though.
After the conversation, yeah.
Yeah.
A vampire movie's adultery really hit home for you. That's some
Vampires are
seriously deep
inherent-
shit.
Vampires
not
are
about
inherently
that.
horny. That
No,
Yeah, they're
vampires-
seductive and shit.
Lord.
That's
What do you mean? That
vampires
was
are.
before they were vampires. What does that have to do with the vampires' horniness?
well, it's just
Haunted-
vampires are horny.
Haunted
It
Erica's
symbolizes
favorite
whatever
scene started with
sin
this.
you
In
engage.
fact, yo, the least amount of horny came from the vampires.
Nah, they were having orgies. I could smell it.
Well, no, the vampire spit in that guy's mouth. She was a vampire at the time.
Yeah, she was drooling.
That was some serious horny. Yeah.
Yeah, that,
Yeah, I miss her. Fuck.
that was some straight right here. That's a perfect shot, porn shot. No
All right,
wonder why
Recon,
I'm
what's your
giving
rating?
Yeah, I find it funny. I feel like Summit's the odd man out here, like you were in the last one, Mateo, because I also have it at like a 7. There was so much I really liked in this movie. I liked the cinematography, I liked the music, I liked all the characters, I liked all the acting. I loved like the environment, right? Because I brought that up, that just watching the movie, I was never thinking, man, this was filmed now. It like everything looked so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like especially the music. I loved the music. The main thing, which I agree with Summit with, that the movie fell flat, was just the vampires. Like when they were fighting the
Wait, you didn't want to
vampires,
see
there
music the whole time and sinning?
No, it was just
You didn't want to
the-
have 6 more sex scenes? You sure? The vampires are what
wish-
made that fall off?
I wish that the final fight with them was like a full bloodbath, fucking epic, like just like whole like watching Michael B. Jordan fucking dual
Dust of Dawn
wielding,
was
fucking
better.
doing all this shit. Like that would have been so
If
sick.
there was no vampires in that movie,
that
that would be
last
the
fight
worst
scene was-
movie I'd ever seen. For sure.
It was
The vampires,
up
while
just-
being stupid as fuck, were the only thing remotely entertaining about that movie. And
Nah,
they
I
were
liked-
corny
I
as
liked
shit.
everything else.
The fight scenes were terrible. It doesn't even make any sense. You guys are going so deep into the dumbest shit I've ever heard. It's crazy. This fucking political message. There's deep cultural appropriation here. There's all this shit. I'm thinking like 17 zombies just flew through a building door and lost the fight to the 72-year-old grandpa fucking musicians in a barn.
Yeah, no, I agree. The fight with the vampires was fucking terrible. It was especially you pointed it out.
I
and
would have
wanted
been
to
so
too.
bad, bro.
When he was holding his ex-wife's neck who was bleeding, I'm just like, you can hear gunshots in the background. I'm like, there's like 50 zombies there, and only Sammy is shooting at this point. How is he not dead?
Well, the
But
girl
you can
was
just hear.
shooting too.
Nah,
You know what's crazy?
maybe she might have been.
You know what's crazy? That scene two random people die that weren't even in the building.
Yeah, I did. They just showed two people that I didn't
feel like
recognize.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Like they wanted to make it feel like they had more of a fight, like people were fighting, and they're like, those guys weren't even in the building. Who is that?
And then fucking Slim, or what was his name? Slim, the more grizzled old man. Yeah. He just slits himself to be like I'm sacrificing myself. Go, go, go.
He's got a beer in the other hand.
They weren't.
Oh, that was funny. He drank the beer and he was like, "Oh, it's still gross." No, I liked every character in that movie.
But Summit, think about the metaphor of the fight. Okay, I'm trolling.
Yeah, he's rage, baby.
You're trolling.
I kind of like that it just wasn't like a straight up cliche like vampire movie. I think that's what made it better for me.
I just wish it was like Shaun of the Dead final fight, where it's just so much shit going on inside of the pub. This was like you get like 30 seconds of them shooting, and then it's kind of like, okay, now it's just yap 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 again. There wasn't a big enough payoff for all the build up. I don't
think I'd ever watch it again though, even though I gave it a 7.5.
Second half threw me off. First half I liked the build up, and then it just went into a whole
they twisted it like crazy. Like you were I don't think anybody was ready for the zombie part of the movie, or the vampire like scene with the natives.
I loved the movie. It didn't stick the landing. 7 out of 10.
All right, cool. Summit, what's your rating?
3.
What did you say?
3.
Okay. So it was worse than last week's movie.
Yeah.
This was
that
not
is.
To be fair, I should have put.
Not
you can change. You can change my. I was just being nice about last week's movie. Last week's movie was absolutely terrible. Was this one much better in my opinion? To be honest, no. But at least it kept my interest a little bit more. So it definitely deserves a higher score. But the last week's score should have been way lower. To be fair.
What did we watch last week
again?
You could just change my last week's score if it makes everything better. Just make that a 2, and you make this one a 3, and we're in there.
What did we watch?
Until Dawn was absolutely horrible.
That was
just saying. I was just pointing out.
Yeah, the explosion's the only thing
that made me laugh so hard, bro. Oh my god.
I don't know, man. Like I said, the way that they make movies nowadays is just they try to grab the youth. Like the youth loves that sex shit, like the sex appeal.
I'm just saying, like, sex. Okay.
Well, no, I'm saying like the newer generation, bro. Like they got like these fucking music videos. I swear to God, I'm like, what the fuck? So,
they've always been that. They've always been
from.
Hey,
yeah, they always Britney Spears music video. Yo, what the fuck are you talking about?
Britney Spears in a music video wasn't twerking at 16 like on some crazy shit. All right, like I put on fucking Nicki Minaj, and I feel like I cheated on my wife. I'm just saying, man. Some of those videos are crazy.
Oh, bro, you didn't watch me.
Dude, there's horrible shit.
I think Michael B did pretty good though.
Yeah, I really like him.
I didn't watch him much in.
Summit is a Michael B hater.
Bro, listen to what you're giving this guy credit for right now. This wasn't like Tom Hardy doing two like very weird, different individuals in his movie, right? This is one guy's serious, one guy's not. It's like we're acting like this is the craziest acting job too. That's mind blowing.
I didn't say crazy acting. Like I said, the build-up, I think, was good. It made me feel like I was in the time.
I liked both the characters.
Listen, I will agree. I think the filming of like the old times, it looked really good. Recon's right, is that you never question like if it's a movie, you're watching something. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I do think that their shots and like shit like that was cool. I actually liked the part where they had the different dancing generations and shit like that. I always thought that was very interesting.
I really don't understand why the aspect ratio kept changing. Usually when movies do that, that represents something. But here it was just like, oh man, we got this really cool shot. Make it full screen. That kind of bugged me that it would just change aspect ratios.
So we got a 6.6 overall rating on that movie.
Yeah, no, I'm glad we watched it. This is probably the most we've ever talked about a movie. So, I mean, it did a good job at like making a conversation.
True.
Guys, how is that true? We have talked about movies afterward for hours.
Beekeeper
We
still
literally
holds up.
watched Gladiator after Gladiator 2.
Not with the whole group though.
How are you guys just like true? What? It's not true.
True real.
But this
Wait,
this
what did you
had
say?
like
What
a
happened?
funny dynamic, right? Of like arguing, like even though most of us think it was good.
I still can't get over the spit scene. I'm sorry.
I'm telling you, Michael B. Jordan was like,
I
"Oh
wanna
man,
know-
I
wanna know if
guess
that
I'll
man
do
took
it.
that or if it just hit the floor next to him.
I guess I'll let her spit in my mouth." if
Brother,
you
obviously he didn't
insist."
take anything, you big
Chris
fucking
is so
doofus.
fucking dumb, bro.
I don't know, man. Some of these movie guys.
Mr. Ratchet Live. This guy's so dumb.
Hold on, let's see. Did Haley
Stop. Don't even type that into your Google or I will remove you from this group, okay? That won't be in your history. Thank you.
That would be
Probably
like the
worse
most
than his
PG thing
history.
in mine.
Hey, honey, how was the movie? Well, today I got to spit in his face. It was awesome.
Did Haley
Oh,
Steinfeld?
God.
Yes, she did. Damn. The first result.
So wait, that
10
couldn't
out
be
of 10.
faked, huh?
10 out of
Some of these,
10.
no, listen, some of
I'm really
Yeah,
proud of my
okay.
wife for doing the great job she did on that film. Yeah?
Jared, it could have been faked. They didn't want it faked. Okay, dude. There's a difference.
Some
I
of
guess
these-
so, man.
some of
Michael B.
these
Jordan did
actors-
take a punch in real life for one of his Paula movies.
That was for yeah.
I forgot they switched. It.
Didn't they
That was a
did
good,
that
that was a good
Rocky
shot too.
too,
It took,
right?
took a
Wasn't
pretty hard shot. It said it rocked him for a few days. He said he like a week he felt that shit.
yeah, wasn't that like
His whole body.
Sylvester Stallone back in Rocky? They were actually hitting each other for the whole
Yeah.
fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, Apollo Creed almost died. Or no, it was him. It was Sylvester Stallone. Like his heart stopped. He got punched in the chest, right?
Oh fuck!
Yeah, they said he
That
could
was-
have died.
Was that the Russian guy hit
I
him
think that was him.
or Mr. T?
I think it was. It was the Russian
Ew.
guy. It was the Russian guy because he felt really bad about it. Dolph Lundgren.
She used syrup so that she could like get a better stream.
Well, okay,
Ew.
stop.
Come on, look
Fucking
into it.
guy, bro. Bro's got pictures up and everything right now.
Yeah, an uppercut from Lundgren resulted in
respect the game.
Stallone's heart slamming against his chest, causing it to swell and his blood pressure to skyrocket.
Wait,
Now for
Mateo, did you give a
medical
rating?
attention.
I don't think I gave it a 7.5. I accidentally
Yeah,
skipped it
everybody-
myself.
See ya?
think-
See? A good
Is
7.
everybody a
Oh, so it's
7 point?
It might have been an 8 if there was a little less complaining and Recon explaining scenes during the movie.
What
It
the
might have been a
heck?
little better.
What the fuck?
There was a
He
little bit of
was-
yapping there, and
he
it's some
was- he
pivotal
was
moments that I
letting
was
it
a little
out.
triggered by.
That shows that I was just
Well, you start
really
yapping
enjoying the
once they
movie.
start talking. That's very bad.
Yeah, like the
timing.
most
bad
important
movie etiquette.
Hey guys,
Just
you
saying.
Okay.
flipping him.
Okay,
Guys, I bet it's that guy.
KGU and Night Night were talking a lot right before that dancing
wasn't.
sequence. Right before that dancing sequence, you guys were yapping.
That's right when it
You
happened.
would start talking when they start talking, and it's like, come
Well,
on.
the dancing sequence, nobody was saying nothing.
Yeah, if they're dancing, it's just music. It's fun to
Yeah,
talk.
exactly.
No,
High
because
five,
right,
Chris.
because
High five, Chris.
no, because right before the dancing sequence, they were giving the monologue, right, where they were saying music transcends time and blah blah blah, and you guys were
Yeah, we know.
yapping.
You told us 3 times.
You guys
I know
were
that's at the
yapping.
end. That's why I was like, "Shut up! I want to hear this." Like what the guy said to the old dude.
You guys were
Fuck.
yapping.
You were.
There's just there's times
when
to
those
yap.
sex scenes happen. Your face looked like it was glued to the fucking camera. I'm just saying.
It was that was.
He had to
Yeah,
make sure you
that's
understood the
like that.
movie metaphor plot, bro.
I got some stuff to search up after this.
I gotta summon like what does someone think about like movies that like actually have some like real sex scenes? Because like this was some
He
like
doesn't
weak
want
sex
them,
scenes.
What do you
This was like
Like what-
soft
like what about, like,
This was
Bro, a lot of
Yeah,
good.
it's attacking me.
Listen, good movies don't have to show skin for it. Like you ever notice like a lot of good movies, they go into it and then it like cuts away, right?
Well,
Like they
think
don't
about-
have to actually show it.
like Titanic, right? The sex scene in Titanic is very important to the story. That's a movie where like the sex scene has to happen. So there are movies where sex scenes have to happen. Like
We should watch Wolf of Wall Street next week.
no,
Somebody would love that.
no,
Someone would love that one.
no, no,
That's a
no.
different type of movie, to be fair.
Jared does like that movie, I'm sure.
It's not that a random sex scene that shows a tiny bit and then gets on with the next scene's that big of a deal. When you anticipate 3 to fucking 4 of them in a goddamn movie, because you know what I'm saying, and that you have to watch for fucking multiple seconds of, you're just like, all right, dude, yeah, sick. I just don't.
Same night. Yo, the sex scenes lasted longer than the fucking fight scenes.
True.
The sex scenes had more like thought process to them apparently, dude, because their fight scenes didn't have a brain when they were fucking thinking about them. So, but it's not a vampire action movie. It's a musician film. I forgot. So I didn't really need that.
It's a metaphor, bro.
I agree with Chris. I bet if you put every sex scene in a row, it lasts longer than that fucking fight scene at the end.
The music was good though. I will give it that.
I did. I loved the music. I was toe tapping.
I say though, like I know it was part of the movie, but when they started like going through time, that really like just killed my immersion of like the cowboy.
Yeah, I didn't think they did that well at all.
Yeah, the vampires didn't do it, guys.
Like I feel like it like I was like so immersed, like these two brothers, fucking 1930s, and then boom, fucking people are crip walking through the fucking barn.
They also put so much extra story in there that could have been used. Like they were a part of Capone's crew. They stole from the Irish. They stole from the Italians. So it could have been Irish and Italians coming for them, like at some point in the movie too. But it just never happened.
What?
Yeah, you missed that part. Yeah, you missed that part. That's how they got all the money to buy the shack. They stole all that shit.
Those fucking Italians, bro.
You know, they gave a bunch of history about them being in the war and all the fucking fuck shit they did. So next week is Minecraft, right?
When does the F1 movie come on platforms? That's what I was gonna look up.
Oh no, but I need to go shower and go to bed. But yeah, GG's. What was it? 6.6?
Yeah.
Probably went up with your 7.5 though, right?
It was multiple sevens.
Yeah, no, that was included. I wrote it down, so I forgot to. That's why I forgot to say mine.
Gotcha.
It skipped over me.
See, I just don't give 0.5s, but if I were, it would be a 7.5 because I want to give it an 8. I just can't.
I enjoyed it more when we started talking about the reason behind everything, like afterwards. Because I kind of took it heavily literal too, and then I was kind of reflecting.
Bumpy Johnson. I do
All
like
right.
that
Yes.
tied in.
So F1 is not going to be available next week.
Why not?
Nah, it just
Was it
came
not
out
out
in
yet?
theaters pretty recently.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not on any
Theaters a
streaming
couple
service
weeks
yet.
ago.
Hey, listen. I think we need to wash up all these movies that we're expecting to be good and watch a movie we know damn well is going to be bad. We need to watch some Snow White. Sean, I'm Shane. Because I purposely have not watched it yet, just so we can make fun of it.
I do want to watch Old Henry,
that.
which Summit suggested Old Henry, but that's another period piece, so we might want a palate cleanser. We might want something more modern. No, Dracula on a boat.
How did Minecraft?
Wait, did you guys rate this movie? What did 1917 get?
I get 8.
Uh,
No, we all gave that like an 8. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
8.1 overall.
Oh, that's so super up there then.
That was the one-shot camera movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We've had like 5 good movies that are over like 8s.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about 9. Okay, that was an okay movie. Fine, but we've had way more worse movies than we've had good movies.
Yeah.
Like, and these movies, like, they're bad, but they're also entertaining. So, like, even the stupid ass Before Dawn was a bad movie, but then they started blowing up and they saved it to be somewhat entertaining.
A little bit of a problem.
There's nothing
though,
to save that movie.
A lot of like really good movies are kind of yapper movies, right? Like No Country for Old Men is a yapper, but like the movie is objectively good. I love No Country for Old Men, but I feel like ADHD brain, we would hate watching it all together.
You literally could watch Braveheart, which is an amazing movie with amazing fight scenes and emotion scenes and amazing fight scenes back to back. What are you talking about?
You know, There Will Be Blood 2 is another one. Like, it's a good movie. I gave it a 10 out of 10, but it's a yapper.
I said it before, the majority of amazing movies out there we've all seen.
That's why I'm trying to watch newer shit.
Yeah, and watching newer shit, there's not a lot of new good shit coming out.
I don't know.
That's the
Netflix be
problem.
coming out with shit. These
Bad
app
shit?
movies-
The
Well, I
fuck
know,
are you
but I'm
talking
saying,
about?
listen. Well, I mean, what are we picking? The app shit comes out with stuff before they come out with like fucking full on movies half the time.
I mean, we did watch that one with Chris Pratt. That was decent.
That's the one I fell asleep, right?
The robot one?
Bro, you fell
Yeah, the
asleep on
robot
a
one.
bunch of them.
What Millie something? Have you
Billy
seen it?
Bobby Brown,
Didn't-
yeah.
Didn't we like all rate that below a 5?
Nah, I don't think so. I'll give it like 6, 7.
The Adam Project, was that what it was called?
No, that actually was good. I like that one.
Adam
but we didn't
Project,
watch
it was with Joseph Gordon-Levitt,
Fuck.
I think.
No,
What the
that's
fuck
the
did
Adam.
we,
That's his. Was that Ryan Reynolds?
No.
Adam Project?
what the fuck was that Netflix
possible.
one with the robots?
All right, boys.
That's what I'm talking about.
Good movie.
All right.
Good night.
That's all.
Hi, brother.
Hey, big-
Good
All right.
idea.
Night.
All right.
The electric.
All right, chat. Peace and love. I'll see you tomorrow. Dope.